framework defines strategic, or CSA, as a systematic examination of environmental and social risks and impacts, as well as other issues associated with a policy or a plan or a program. And typically, this can be at a national level, but can also be in a smaller area. Now, note this: policy, plan, or program, the PPP, policy, plan, and program. And whenever you have any definition, whenever you have to define strategic environmental assessment, these are the three areas you are looking at. You're looking at a policy, you're looking at a plan, and you're looking at a program. And these are usually called or referred to as being at the strategic level. Now, let's go to the European Union. They look at SEA as an assessment to provide for a high level of protection of the environment and to contribute to the integration of environmental considerations into the preparation and adoption of plans and programs, with a view to promoting sustainable development. So you see here, they use the term integration. Integration. The World Bank simply said systematic examination of environmental and social risks and impacts. Here they talk about integration of environmental considerations. You see, under the EU definition, social is missing. Okay. And again, one thing is missing there too. Policy is not mentioned there. Okay. Now let's go to the Ghana environmental assessment regulations. The recent one. Yes, the recent amendment. SEA means the formalized, systematic, and comprehensive process of evaluating the environmental and social impacts of a PPP and their alternatives, of course, and the use of the findings in publicly accountable decision-making. So here too, we have, again, systematic. And in Ghana, they add comprehensive process of evaluating. Okay, so here is more of evaluation. Okay, evaluation of the environmental and social impacts. Under the EU, it was integration of environmental considerations. And under the World Bank, it was systematic examination of environmental and social risks and impacts. Okay, now we go to the International Association for Impact Assessment. And let me say here that the IAIA is an organization that groups all professionals globally in impact assessment. So this is the organization that brings together all professionals in the field of impact assessment. So the SEA is defined as a forward-looking approach that integrates environmental and social considerations into PPPs, into policy, program, and plans. Before decisions are made, SEA helps governments, practitioners, and communities to evaluate long-term risks and opportunities. Okay, I think this is better. Yeah, opportunities. Compare alternatives and support more transparent, informed, and equitable decision making. Well, this goes even beyond the definition into the actual some of the features that we find about SEA. So these are the 4 definitions that we want you to just be aware of. The principal or the key words here either use integration of environmental and social considerations, or evaluation of a systematic evaluation of environmental and social risks and impacts. And whichever way you look at it, you are on the right path. So, in short, that is SEA, and we say it is the assessment that relates to policy, programs, and plans. Okay, at the strategic level. Now, you shortly realize that that is the basic distinction between SEA and EIA. This one is at a strategic level, and that's what we refer to policy, plans, programs. Now, the objectives of SEA, 1, to integrate environmental and social considerations in strategic decision making. Again, integration comes here. 2, now, to account for the cumulative implications of the PPPs. And I believe you have done some EIA work, so you've come across the word cumulative. It is very, very important here in SEA because you look at what the sub-projects are likely to result in, and as we say it, cumulatively, the small sub-projects may contribute small in terms of size or scope, more impacts, but cumulatively may mean something very significant. And this is what SEA addresses. It looks at the whole picture and decides what limits or threshold must not be exceeded. Again, SEA also, as an objective, enhances stakeholder participation. And that is key. It's key in SEA, key in EIA, stakeholder participation. You cannot sit in your office as a consultant and then coin or create your impacts and your mitigations and without the involvement of stakeholders who live on the resource that is to be applied in any given project or program or policy, and who feel or who will feel the impact of the policy or the program or the plan. And there is no way that the program can be formulated and can be said to be, if you like, foolproof without the involvement of stakeholders. So note it. It is very, very important in SEA and also, of course, in EIA that improve the quality of policies, plans, and programs. That is one of the main objectives of SEA, so that you don't formulate a policy, you don't formulate a plan or a program that would later give rise to problems, which SEA helps you to foresee and to plan towards their mitigation or avoidance. Then finally, on the objectives, we can talk about SEA promoting sustainable development at a wider scale. So these are the 5 key objectives of SEA that you can always refer to. Now we will briefly look at some of the features of SCA. Number one, it must be applied at an early stage. It must be integrated at an early stage. See, so you apply it at the earliest possible decision-making stage in the process, allowing environmental and sustainability considerations to influence the formulation of the policy or the plan or the program before major decisions are finalized, before government comes in to accept and to start implementation or adoption. A broad strategic scope. SEAs have that feature, and they cover, of course, cumulative issues, even secondary issues. Then the synergies, synergistic effects across a whole sector, a whole region, or even at a national level. Okay, so as I said with the cumulative, let me also say something about the synergistic effect. If you take certain plans, like for instance, okay, yeah, so this will solve some of the problems in the assignment we gave. If you take, for instance, the Dawa Industrial Zone Development, you will see that, and for any free zones, enclave, you will see that we have different types of industries that we want to attract. Now, what happens is that you would always want to put together, aggregate like industries. If they are water-based, you want to put them together. You don't want to mix electronic industries with dust-generating industries, like things to do with if like carpentry and that kind of thing. Okay, so and then you want to even in your transportation network development in the area, you want to organize them such that it makes economic sense in terms of how compatible these different varied industries are. You place them in such a way that you take the due advantage of their features and their properties. Where, for instance, one industry's waste can be beneficial certain material for another industry. You have all these concepts in mind in organizing them. So you take advantage of all the synergies and you minimize the cumulative effects, and you address all the secondary issues that may also arise. Now you are also looking at alternatives, and you examine the different strategic options for achieving the objectives of a PPP, helping decision makers understand the environmental and social trade-offs that you need to make. And in impact assessment or SEA, we are always making trade-offs. This is what one professor said, that you can never eat an omelette without breaking an egg. You see, you can never restore or reinstate the environment which you are subjecting to, or you are developing it into another land use, if you like. You see, there will always be, a kind of variation, and this variation in land use or in development would result in some impacts. Sometimes we try to offset this impact, but there's a degree to which we can do that. And so trade-offs are necessary. and we must understand the extent of trade-offs, how much we are losing and who is losing, so that we can try to compensate for the losses by those suffering from the project trade-offs. Now, participatory process. This is built on on structured, ongoing consultation with government, civil society, and affected communities and any other interested parties. We must make sure that in SEA, participatory process plays a lead role. And then finally, we are looking at monitoring oriented. SEAs, have that feature, and it includes monitoring of significant effects and implementation outcomes to determine whether I think something is missing, whether the projected impacts and the mitigation measures are falling in place, whether the recommendations are effective enough. And in SEA, recommendations are some of the principal outcomes that are expected, and you monitor to see how effective the recommendations are, and how effective they are working, and whether you need any remedial action to reinforce any particular recommendation. Now, so you see, let me mention this. So here in SEA, we refer to recommendations more than, if you like, mitigations. Okay, because this is at a strategic level. Okay, while in EIA, you'll be looking more at the impacts and the mitigations. But in SEA, that is one of the differences. Now, let's look at the differences between EIA and SEA. We have attempted to break this down. I said initially that the process is quite similar. So when we get to the methodology, you see the approaches are similar, except that one is at a higher level and one is at a project level. So the decision level here, we are referring to policy, plan, or program. Okay, when it comes to EIA, it is project. It is project level decision making. Okay. In terms of timing, we say that the SEA should take place at a very early stage in the decision cycle. EIAs are also supposed to take place very early, but you see, by their nature, it is often delayed until project approval stage. So you usually have to do it before project approval. Unlike SEA, where it has to be done long before. See, so that is the slight variation between them. Then in terms of alternatives, we're looking at broad strategic alternatives. Very broad strategic alternatives. And whenever I hear the word strategic, I just imagine that we mean at a higher level. Unlike EIA, which is at a project level, it is project specific. Okay, you can identify it on the ground. This is it. A gold mine, and this is where it's located. Or an industrial, venture. This is where we want to site it. Okay. So when we are looking at alternatives, you look at the project nature. and you're looking at the site conditions, the alternative site, and you look at design alternatives. Okay, so these are and you can even look at the timing, because if for instance your project is dusty in nature, and you have the option, and you will require a lot of water to maybe douse it or that kind of thing. You may have to decide between if you have the option, decide between when you implement the project. See, in your project implementation cycle, when you push the implementation, taking advantage of maybe rainwater. Okay, so you have enough rainwater. You have to douse it, in much less frequent times compared to, in the dry season, you water the road or whatever, and within a few hours it's dried again and the dust has come back, and people are going to suffer all kinds of things. In terms of scale, SEA can be at the sectoral level, at the regional level, at the national level, and you're looking also at the cumulative. But when we come to EIA, we are looking at the specific footprint of the project. And the farthest you can go is to look at the potential area of influence. I believe you are also familiar with that expression, the area of influence or the sphere of influence. So effectively, this is site specific as far as the scale is concerned. Then the issue about uncertainty, a higher degree of uncertainty with SEAs because of their inherent strategic level or strategic nature. And they are often scenario based. You create scenarios, and that is used in determining and deciding on the key issues of interest and of concern. Unlike EIA, which is because they are more project specific and they are based on specific information or data, the level of uncertainty is most often very low, very, very low compared to SEA. Then, of course, we come to the main purpose, the influence strategic options for SEA. And then in EIA, we manage project impacts and risks. We know them, we are able to identify them, we're able to assess, we're able to evaluate their significance, and we are able to provide mitigation measures for them. And that's quite unlike SEA, where we can only influence these strategic options for the scenarios that we have developed for them. So we attempted to present a kind of hierarchy at the strategic level, of course, linking the project level assessment as well. And we say here that policy is the highest level of SEA, and then the plans are, if you like, the next, and then program follows. But you should not be deceived. Sometimes we'll get there, and sometimes you see it's not easy to determine whether something is a policy SEA or plan SEA or program SEA. It's not easy at all. There are cases where the activity may be called even a project. So you don't use the name that is given you to determine your approach and to work with it as if it is so. You have to look at the content to be able to determine whether this looks more like a policy or a plan SEA or a program SEA. And in the exercise that we will shortly be discussing, they will help us to try to develop the skill for determining what looks more like a policy SEA, what looks like plan SEA or program SEA. As for projects, we don't have any problem with it at all. So SEA primarily is primarily concerned with the strategic levels of decision making. While, of course, for the PPPs, while EIA or ISIA is typically applied at the project level. So I think this is where we can look at our exercises. Here we say that, of course, we've said it over and over again, SEA can be classified by the level of decision being assessed, and by its sectoral, spatial, or analytical focus. Now, we have the three SEAs, the policy, plan, and program. Now, let us see. When it comes to policy, we say that it assesses broad government policies and strategic directions, focusing on the environment and social implications of different policy options. Now, let's look at Plan SEA, assesses development framework or frameworks, often for a sector or geographical area, including land use patterns and alternative planning scenarios. So here, the idea of planning makes plan SEAs a bit easy to define. Now, we come to program, and that is where sometimes, students get confused, but we will see. We'll see what strategy will help us to be able to distinguish between program SEA and plan SEA. Assesses a coordinated set of actions, and note the coordinated set of actions or investments, and considers their combined and strategic effects. Okay, so note coordinated set of actions or investments, and considers their combined and strategic effects. Okay, now I have talked a lot. With these brief, distinctions, let us move to our assignment. So we will look at, we're supposed to, okay, let's start from 1. I was going to start from 2, because 2 relates directly to the issues under discussion. Yeah, but let's look at 1. Justify with one reason why the programs or policies or plans listed below were subjected to SEA and not EIA. Should we look at that, or we should rather start with what will be the basis for advising the government to subject the following policies or plans or programs to SEA? Maybe we can start with the number 2. Yes, so here, let's see, over to you. What do you think? The free SHS, where will you place that? A policy, SEA, program SEA, or plan SEA? and you are advising the government of Ghana. What advice will you give? What kind of SEA will be required, will be necessary? Yes, so yes, I see a hand up. Enam, please help us.
Yeah. Well, for the senior highs is, I think it should be the SE, because it's a policy program, so it will be based on the law, policy, and I think the law, policy, then program or plan that will guide the senior high, free senior high school project. Because
yes.
it's not a physical project though, but I think it should be.
Yes, we know it is SEA by all means, but you are advising the Minister of Education. What type of SEA? Is it policy SEA, plan, or program for free senior high school?
It's a policy.
Policy.
Yes, sir.
Policy. Why do you say so? Can you give just one reason why you say it is policy? Raymond, please help us.
Okay, sir. Good evening to you and good evening to you all. I agree with Senam as he's saying it's a policy because it is a national social policy that is triggering indirect but a massive cumulative infrastructure, which demands new classroom, things like dormitories, water, sanitation systems, energy use, waste generations as well, which spread across, should I say, hundreds or thousands of schools nationwide in Ghana, plus a demographic and social effect. And so you realize that this has no single EIA that can capture this cumulative national policy. And so it is a wider scale and a social carrying capacity questions. And looking at it, it is only a policy level assessment that can actually flag where infrastructure environment bottleneck will even emerge. And that is why I would say it is a policy.
Okay, it is a policy. Okay. Jacob, you want to make comment on that? 3SHS.
Yes, please. I also said with the first two speakers, Raymond and Enam, that it's a policy-based SEA. I say so because it's a social policy in nature, and the impact is so broad that it must be considered first under SEA and not the other way. But it being a policy comes to a reason that sometimes policies are reviewed, and free SHS is one of the let me say policies that can be reviewed pertaining any area of it, being it cutoff points, being it age limits. A lot of things are about it that needs to be reviewed, and to consider it under a program, it may not have such a broad base to be. It has a broader base to be a policy than a program. I don't know if you get me right, but I'm only siding with them that I see it to be a policy SEA than being a program or plan.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. Now, it is certainly a policy, but your reasons, for instance, Raymond's reasons, make it look more like a program. Emmanuel, Emmanuel, you want to make a contribution? Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. So I wanted to also say that it's a policy because it's a course of action that is being implemented by the government to address a specific issue. So the issue is that people do not have access to senior high school. So the government brought in this course of action to address that issue. So it's not a program or neither a plan, because for the program it's like activities that the government set aside to be able to implement a policy. But this one is is a course of action that is addressing a specific issue. So I see it as a policy and not a program or a plan.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Now you are all correct. It's a policy, but look at it. See the difficulty here. And it started with Raymond. See, you were describing various creation of educational infrastructure throughout the country, okay, to absorb the large number of students that these three SHS will potentially draw, okay? As soon as you went that way, what came to my mind was that you were looking at a program, okay? On the other hand, you are also looking at the volume of investment that is required to sustain the free SHS policy. You're looking at the investment, because the investment, and remember one of the definitions, sustainable development, sustainable investment. You know, free SHS has been bedeviled by lack of sustainable investment in the area. If we had subjected it to SEA, we would have defined where the sources of investment would flow from. So regularly, resources will be available for the program. Unlike what we are facing now, where we still have to do some firefighting to, looking around to bring in resources to sustain it. But if we had done the policy SCA, all this would have been taken care of. For instance, food cultivation projects to feed the students. I understand we still import tomatoes even for free SH. But if we had planned from the beginning, we would have made provision for all this as an important social intervention to take on this large number of students that were going to be drawn into the school system. So these are things you really must think through and then arrive at, and they overlap. You see, you will never have a clean so-called policy SEA without any traces of a program in it. And the same way, it may be a program substantively, but you have elements of policy also featuring. Okay, so that's the caution there, that sometimes it's not easy at all to determine what exactly the particular SEA falls. Now let's look at the next one. One village, one dam. That one is pretty straightforward. Who would set the ball rolling? What SEA is that? One village, one dam. And we can take the next one district, one factory. Yes. What kind of SEA is that? Yes, please. Raymond, where are you? And John, Emmanuel,
Yeah. Hello.
Ernestina, yes, please help
Yeah.
us.
So with the one village, one dam, looking at it carefully, I would say it's a program SCA. And why? Because at the end of the day, it's looking at a distributed water infrastructure program, involving dams and all of that. And then it's a program SCA level because it's also going to compare, the siting, design, and even alternatives for individual dams to be equally screened.
Okay.
And I think it's also in line with the one district, one factory. So both to me are program SCA.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Any other, anyone opposing?
Doc.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. This is Samuel Akono.
Samuel, yeah.
Okay, so I also support Ernestina, that is a program SCA. Since it's more sector specific, we are looking at villages, and in villages you have to even classify, and in the design you look at the classification and which volume of water you are looking at, because you can have two villages where the population vary, and then you can't use same volume of water for, say, let me say, these two varying populations. So it also applies to the one district, one factory. It's also more sectorial, like specific, because you have a district, you have municipality, and you have so you are also looking at which type of district. It's also looking at population and you're also looking at the crop which you want to process. So it all boils down to a program SCA. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And that's it. You are correct. So thanks, Ernestina, and thanks, is it Samuel? Thank you. Yes. So you see, one district, one factory, one village, one dam. This is going to be replicated, throughout the country. Okay, it's going to be replicated throughout the country, and there's something about programs, and it's of unique interest. You see, and I think one of you was trying to describe, I think it's, yes, the last speaker also. You see, you have to, in program SCA, like this one, you have to provide the procedure and what we call the screening tool. Because like you were saying, you have one dam, one village, one dam. They will not be of the same size and types and that kind of thing, depending upon the soil, depending upon the area, depending upon the basin that will be collecting the water. And so you have to spell out a screening tool to help you handle the sub-projects, okay? And then, of course, number one is that it is dotted throughout the country. Okay, the infrastructure development for the dams are going to be developed throughout the country. And you need to provide the procedure to follow, the screening tool to apply in categorizing the size and the type of dam to be constructed. Some may be subject to full EIA, okay, while some are subjected to just a very simple preliminary environmental assessment. And some may only be just the form filling stage. You just in the initial assessment, and that's enough for it. But the framework, the SCA will provide all the necessary guidance for the sub-projects to be implemented, you see. And that is unlike the free SHS, where it is a policy at the national level, where the means of investment, the means of food supply, crops or whatever, supply to the schools, and the like, the school uniforms, you know, and all that, Okay, now let's go to the 24-hour economy. What advice will you give to the minister for, which ministry is responsible? The minister for, is it trade, the industry? Yes, 24-hour economy. What is it? Is it a plan? Is it a program or policy SEA? Yes, Jacob. Yes, please, Jacob,
Yes,
help. Yeah.
I see the 24-hour economy also as a program SEA, because the distribution of this program is countrywide, and it's not going to be a policy that is maybe centered at the central government, coming from there to the individual, let's say, communities or wherever it will be implemented. But it will come with various ones. For instance, the current markets that we are seeing that will be constructed in some communities or districts, they have to come with a lot of strategic planning, where the size of the market and where it will be centered, the effect it will have on people, and the impacts. So with all this coming into the policy, the 24-hour economy, I see it to be a program than it being a policy. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Now let's hear from who? The second figure is it Emmanuel? Is it Emmanuel? Obed. Yeah, please. Obed.
Yes,
Obed.
please. Yes, thank you so much. I also think it's the 24-hour economy is at the policy level. Okay. My reason is that it looks like it's a broad national economic policy which is intended to influence how economic activities are organized and operated across sectors. So therefore, I think its potential environmental and social implications should be assessed at the policy level rather than looking at it as a specific project. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Enam, please.
Okay. I also see the 24-hour economy to be on the policy level because of the multi-shift on operations, the operational sector of manufacturing, transport, the logistics, and other economic activities. Then maybe in the land use, the infrastructure demand, and the economic consumption side. So there should be a policy that will guide all those demand or those activities. So I see it to be a policy.
Okay.
SEA.
Thank you. Who is next? Who is next? Stephen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good evening, all. Okay,
Yes.
so I also think that it's from the policy level, because from the definition you gave us on the policy SEA, it says assesses broad government policies and strategic directions, focusing on the environmental and social implications of different policy choices. So I think that with this definition, it should be on the policy level, because it will answer the question, what do we want to achieve? Because if this policy itself has been subjected to SEC, I don't think that we will be jumping from 133 to the market construction. So I think that it should be on the policy level.
Okay, thank you,
policy.
Raymond. Yeah, Raymond, let's have yours as the last on this.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. I also think it's, or agree with the other two speakers, is that it is at the policy level, because we are looking at this 24-hour economy. We are looking at a microeconomic policy. Why am I saying that? Because it intends to reshape something like tackling different aspects of entities or interests, like labor patterns, where we have the implication of maybe something like occupational health and safety, urban security. We'll also be looking at maybe gender differentiated risk for women at night shift and other things. At the energy level, it touches on so many different aspects in the economy, transport, public service demand, which is not specifically tied to maybe one project. Okay, so it all requires maybe a cross-sectoral strategic analysis or critical thinking, and so I feel like it belongs to a policy rather than a program.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Do we still have anybody else?
Yeah. Okay, I also I'm looking at it as a policy and a bit of a program, because I'll say program because it cannot cut across all sectors. For example, when you take education, you can't do 24-hour. I bet to differ. So let's say, for instance, when you take the basic school, running 24-hour economy would be very much, it will not make sense. So I'm looking, it will be at the program level, looking at the various sectors where they mention transport and all that, fine. But then when you come to education, it's a bit tricky over there. So based on that, I also classify it under a bit of program SEA.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Are we done? Or somebody else? Stephen, you want to come in again? Oh, I think we are done.
Sorry, I'm okay.
Stephen.
Thanks.
Okay, good. Good. Yes. So you see the difficulty, and I like the last contribution. You see, it looks more like a policy SEA. It looks more like a policy SEA. But you see, the difficulty we all have is that the 24-hour economy, we don't want to sound political, but it was not well defined. You see, it was not well defined. So we do a lot of guesswork, what we think it should be, and what is coming up more recently, trying to be more precise in the definition. But even with this difficulty, I think you've done very, very well. You've done very, very well. And, the fact that your assessment leads you to policy SEA is very creditable. So thank you for that. Now let's take the last one. The Road Traffic Amendment Bill, the Okada Bill. What do you think this should? What advice will you give to the government as far as an SEA is concerned? The Okada Bill. Yes, who would set the ball rolling? Okada Bill. Yes. Yes, James and Jacob. So let's take James first. Yes, James, the Okada Bill.
Okay, sir. So, with the Okada bill, all things being equal, there will be an increase in demand for motorcycles. which would then mean that there will also be an increase in demand for fuel. And so there's some environmental risk associated with fuel combustion. And so my advice will be that we need to conduct an SEA to understand the kind of demand that it would generate in terms of motorcycles, movement, motor accidents as well. And so I would look at it from a program SEA. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. And who is supposed to be the next? Is it John or Jacob?
Jacob.
Jacob, okay, yes.
Okay, thank you, sir. I differ a bit with my brother James.
Okay.
I see the Okada bill as a policy.
Okay.
With the sense that tricycles, motorcycles are already in the transport business, but this is a policy that had come in to regulate the activities of such vehicles in order to ensure safety as well as other related matters. Because without the policy, meaning this type of vehicles are used anyhow on our roads and they don't ensure safety. So it's a policy to regulate the activity of these tricycles and motorcycles. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. John?
Okay, I will go for policy as well, because in the first place, before any bill is passed, policy precedes it. So we can't say it's a program, because so far as it has gotten to the level of a bill, it means that policy gave rise to the bill. But more importantly, this is going to change our total transport system in Ghana. And this is kind of a policy. It's going to change our urban mobility systems. It's going to influence a whole lot of things in terms of road safety regulations, traffic regulations in Ghana. So I think it's so broad and it communicates a government intention. So I think it's policy done. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And we come to Ansroga.
Ansroja. That is Obed.
Oh, Ansroja. Obed. Ansroja. Okay. Okay.
Yes, please. Sir, please. I am also looking at it that since it is a proposed legislative intervention intended to motorcycle transportation, then it falls within policy SEA, because like what my colleagues have said, it is going to affect our transport patterns, road safety, emissions, and mobility, which is a very broad and strategic something. So I think it falls under the policy.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes. And is it Ernestina first before Enam? Or Enam? Yeah, Ernestina.
Okay, thank you. So I will also go for a policy SEA, because at the end of the day, the bill will create, a national framework for licensing, and, regulating, and even expanding the commercial motorcycle transport. Because at the end of the day, it's going to create a reform in the congestion, emission, and all that has been mentioned. So at the end of the day, it will examine, the wider transport system and its alternatives. So I will go for the policy SEA. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you. And are you still?
Yes, I just have to also add something a little. Is to also go for the policy, because especially when it comes to motorcycle, there will be a noise pollution in that aspect. So that is where the legislation instrument from EPA that will regulate the permissible noise level, then it falls under the policy. And the second have to do with the regulation of the transportation system from the, I think, DVLA and other regulatory bodies. So it will all come back to a policy that can guide that particular program. So I think it should be on policy level.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I am impressed. Yes, I mean, there's no question about that. It falls under SEA and my policy SEA. And you see, one particular thing, one big problem we have with Okada is the rough driving, the riding, and the accidents. You see, so if you're subjecting it to a policy SEA, one thing we have to look at, for instance, is the need to group them under certain companies, or like we have for road transport, we have the GPRT, and those things, you see, and then let them serve as the first level of control. See, so they can themselves, regulate their members and help minimize the accidents. So before you can roll into any of these groups, associations, you must have certain basic qualifications. We must be able to easily identify your motorbike, okay, as belonging to association A or B and that kind of thing. And if you drive or ride roughly and that kind of thing, the police goes to your association, to effect, to make sure that the control is, they have a better grip of the groups and the associations. See, rather than dealing with the individual, numerous Okadas causing all kinds of mess and putting people's life at risks. Yeah. Yeah, so thank you very much. This has been very, very impressive. I don't know whether we have enough time to now look at the first one. Dr. Lente, do we have enough time?
In fact, we have enough time. This is supposed to end at 10, but it depends upon your. If you need a break, we can allow a break and come back.
Okay,
it's possible.
Okay, I'm all right.
Okay.
But let's see if the students think they need a break.
No, we can continue for now.
We can continue for the next 20 or so minutes and finish with the first set of assignments.
Yeah.
Can we? Yeah. So now here we're going to try to justify why SEA was conducted for the following 10 activities and not EIA. Okay, and here let's be very, very brief. Maybe one person will speak and then we'll move on to the other. So the first one, and these are all projects that have been done by our company here. Okay. Now, the Ghana Railway Master Plan. The Ghana Railway Master Plan. And I give one reason why it was subject to SEA, not EIA. Yes. Who starts for us? Yes. Enam, please go ahead.
So, Doc, I also think the master plan will have to do with policy. Because
okay,
it will be based on a policy in the master plan. As I say, maybe it will be, we have a range of railway all over, though, but there should be a policy that will guide the implementation of that particular railway master plan. So from where I see it, I think it should be a policy SIA, not a.
Okay. Okay. Now, Stephen, do you agree?
I beg to differ. I will go for a plan SEA because it's going to be involve a long-term strategic plan, and then the development will cover almost maybe all the country, all the towns in the country. So It's not. I think that it should be per the definitions you've given us. I will go for Plan SEA.
Okay. Now, who is next? Is it Enam before Jacob? Enam.
Yeah. So, sir, let me come in before they continue.
Okay.
Yes, I think that one, this was given to us. You know, this was given to us to work on. Then, secondly, you see, he's been able to help us to, which is very difficult, but he's been able to do that to help us define policy SEA, plan SEA, and program SEA. So whenever you are making a submission, you are taking a decision whether the SEA is policy, plan, or program. Please try to understand what policy SEA is, what program SEA is. In that way, our responses might be hitting the target. For instance, like I know others will come in, but if you look at what Stephen has said, if you look at the definitions that we were given, because it's good we do a submission within a certain definition. Other than that, we'll have answers that are just speculative and all over the place. You realize that with the Ghana Railway Master Plan, it's a strategic national plan. You see, it sets a framework for projects across the regions.
Yes.
You see, so it's a plan that is made up of a framework that has pieces of multiple railway projects across regions of the nation. So definitely, if you have such a thing, it's a plan. You see, you have a framework that has linkages of railway projects. You see, it does not include all other sectors, but multiple future railway projects across the regions in that framework. And that is a plan. So I am just coming in this way so that we are guided. Let's look at the definitions that will help us to be very concise and precise. Man, I've always told you that in exams, if you deviate saying all sorts of things, you will get zero.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you very much. In fact, that's exactly the case. So you must come in from just as SEA strategic. You see, you must also be very, very strategic. Hit the nail on the head. I mean, go for policy. What's the definition we give to it? Program. What the definition we give to it? You see, and apply it. Okay. Yeah. So let's move on to the next one. Ghana Road Sector Development Project. Jacob.
Yes, Jacob. Please. Yes, sir. I want to get a bit of clarification here before I answer, because the question is asking why SEA and not EIA.
Yes.
So I am seeing it that why is this strategic and not we going for an environmental impact assessment?
Yes.
So that's the way, but not necessarily classifying it under either policy plan, or even though that is part of it. But I think we should differentiate between why SEA and not EIA. Yeah. That's how I see it.
You are right. That's how it looks like. But you see, as soon as you distinguish it, the reasons you are giving for it being SEA would also connect easily, whether it is policy or program but the question itself does not require you to indicate whether policy or SEA, policy or plan or program. But to distinguish it from EIA, you will have to substantiate the type of SEA you are referring to. I hope you get it. Yes, yeah, 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 and it shouldn't be difficult at all. I mean, so Jacob, you want to still, or you are done?
Yeah, so this one too, because the Ghana Road Sector Development Project is about the whole Ghana, and that one too must be very strategic because some of the places, in terms of topography and other issues, might not be equal to any other place in the country, and so it must be developed strategically. And it's I see it also as a program.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
Under SEA.
Thank you. Other contributors. PC is okay. PC.
Okay. Hello, sir.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I think this is a program involving execution of various road activities.
Okay.
It requires a SCA to manage a sector-wide cumulative effect that
Okay. So you see, you are not deceived by the name, project. You see, it tells you Ghana Road Sector Development Project, but you are fast enough to realize that this, in fact, is not a project, though that is its name. Okay. Again, Enam and Nestina. Enam comes first.
No, Doc, I think it should be a program.
It should be
a program.
Program, okay.
Yes. So.
Okay. All right. Okay. And then Nestina, what do you think? What do you think?
Thank you. So primarily, I think it's a program SCA because it comprises of a coordinated packages of series of interventions, and then when you look at it, is being delivered over time across multiple locations. So yeah, I will go for a program SCA. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So now let's move to 1.3 and 1.4. Northern Region Small Towns Water and Sanitation Project, and then District-Wide Assistance Project Extension and Phase 2. These two, and let's start with John before Stephen.
I think Northern Region Small Water and Sanitation Project is a program, but it involves series of projects, different projects happening in different communities and districts. The Northern region.
Okay. Stephen.
Yeah, thank you, sir. I also think that it's a program because the water and sanitation intervention will cut across all the small towns in the northern region. So I will per the explanation given to us, I will go for program. SCA. Yeah.
And again, just for emphasis, you see, we said the program will always have sub-projects, though plans also have sub-projects. Programs are dotted all over the place, you see, and you're going to have sub-projects, and you have to develop procedures and screening tools to, help categorize them. Those that are small, those that are large, that must be, that will require sub EIAs or PRs or just the initial assessments. Yeah. Okay. So that's it. They are programs. Now let's go to this assignment that were given by CEDA, Ghana Country Development Programming Framework. They gave us this assignment and we did it. It's of course, okay, first, where will you place it? EIA, SEA? Of course, it's not the EIA. Okay, SEA, what would you say? What type of SEA? Will this fall under? Yes, Raymond. Raymond, are you muted? Okay, then Stephen.
Hello.
Raymond. Yes.
Yeah. So please, I think it will be a policy SEA because we are looking at a strategic aid priority that will serve as a framework, and it has no defined activities, because if you look at the explanation given by you, or the definition by definition of a policy, it is applied to a general course of action with an intent or maybe a legislative instrument that guides future decisions. So this policy has no defined site, no defined technology, or maybe a timetable set out of activities. And so once it's a framework, it belongs to a policy SEA. That is what I think.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's combine 1.6 also, budgetary support for implementation of the food and agriculture sector development policy. Oh. Okay, yeah. So let's pick 1.5 and 1.6. Stephen, your turn.
But the 1.6, it's already there. So the definition is policy SEA. Yes. Yeah. So it's straightforward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And Estina, what else do you want to add?
Yeah, please. I also want to say it's an policy SEA.
Okay. Let's move to 1.7. 1.7. And I think we can combine 1.7 and 1.8. The airport, the Accra Airport City development. The Accra Airport City development. Why was that subjected to SEA, not EIA? And then the Dawa Industrial Zone. Why was that also, subjected to SEA and not EIA? So we are taking these two together. Accra Airport City Development and Dawa Industrial Zone. See, it's unfortunate we did not give you more information on them. Okay, that would have been very fairer, for you to do your assessment. But still, I know you have the capacity to do it. So, Jacob, you'll be first, and then Raymond will follow, and then Stephen. So, Jacob.
Yeah, I see both of them as programs because these are specific projects at specific locations that will have a cumulative effect on the people and then the environment around that particular area, like the airport and then our industrial zone. So I see both of them being a project, a program SEA. Thank you.
Okay, let's hear from who is next. I think it was who? Okay, Stephen. Raymond, please come on, come. Yes, these two.
Okay, Doug, the airport city development and then the Dawa industrial zone, I see it to be an SEA plan because it talks about the spatial or land use master plan for the defined area or the zoning of this allocation plan. Because when you look at or take a critical look at the SEA plan, it is applied to a coordinated or maybe a spatial or set of objectives and options that are developed to implement a policy. So, for example, if you have a land use or zoning or a network that you need to master, you need a plan for that. A plan that compares the strategic alternative, the route, the zone, the corridors, and all that. But maybe it may not yet be committed to a specific or individual design project. But once it starts out the spatial use of the zoning and corridors, it becomes a plan that will be developed in time. So I see it to be an SCA plan rather than a program.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Who is next? Is it Stephen or?
Sir.
Stephen, then John, and then Solomon. Yeah.
Okay, so I will also support what Raymond just said. It's a plan because it's going to affect traffic in future, land use, drainage, and then waste generation, and even affect air quality around that area. So looking at the definition you gave us earlier, I will go for plan. But the second one, the 1.8, I need to think about it well. But the 1.7, I'll go for a plan.
Okay, all right. Okay, so let's take from, is it John's turn now? And then Solomon.
So for the industrial zone, I also see it as a plan because it has a framework for industrial development, involving industry, commercial activities, and all that. So I think it has it is a plan with a framework for industrial development.
Okay, thank you. Solomon.
Okay, sir. So I see it as an SCA plan because it has to look at something like the carrying capacity and also look at maybe accumulation pollution risk of the entire zone rather than maybe it being an individual factory.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. Yes, so you are right. It's a plan. They are all plans. The airport city was a small plan SEA, and the Dawa Industrial Zone also SEA of a plan. And please remember this distinction. The one who answered first, I think, stated it. Yeah. See, we give the definition, the special plan, the land use arrangement. See, so where you have a large tract of land that is being developed, not only that land, of course, large tract of space, if you like, which is being developed to attract industry or being developed. And because the area is large and you are going to attract different types of industries, some of which features as at the time of the SCA are not defined, are not known. You know that you want water-based industries, you want electronic, you want this, but the specific definition of the scope and the nature of those projects that will come in are not known, are not defined. Okay? And then also development would span over a long period. Okay? Like you go to the Dawa Industrial Zone, it started, and like even the free zones, the Ghana Free Zones, Free Zones Enclave, the development started several years back, but they still have space for new developments to come up. Okay, so you're looking at large tract of land. You're looking at different industry types that you want to attract there, which you do not specifically know the nature and the scope of those developments. So you cannot do precise assessment. And then this also spans a long period of time for them to come up. That is why they cannot be EIA. Okay, and because it's situated in a large space of land, that is where it falls under a plan, SCA. Okay, so at least we have helped you to define some of the basic elements of a plan SCA, and then a program SCA, and also policy SCA. But as I said from the beginning, these overlap. They overlap. And sometimes they're very difficult to determine where to place them. But you look at the substantive features, the key features that are given in the definition of those activities. Then you place them appropriately under policy or plan or program. Okay. do not let the names deceive you. If the name comes as a project or something, you don't get deceived. So look at the content, what the activity supposed to be, so that you can appropriately place it. The last two, the Water Lake Inland Water Transport System study, and then the Ghana Landscape Restoration and Small Scale Mining Project. What do you think? What do you think about these two? John first, and then Stephen. These last two, the Water Lake Inland Water Transport System Development Study, and then
old hand, but let me try to respond.
Yes.
Because it's going to involve different transport arrangements, transport systems, like ports, ferries, and all that. I think it's a program than just a plan.
Okay. Okay. And Stephen, what do you think?
I beg to differ, because I live in Akosombo, and I was very attracted to that very title. Because you see, that system can have implications on water quality and aquatic ecosystem and the rest, and then communities around the lake. I will go for a plan SEA.
Okay. Okay. And
Yes, Doc, I also go for the plan SEA, because it is not going to start at a go and finish. So it should be set of different things, because it should take a vast time or long time to be done. So I think it should go for SIA.
Okay. This is one of those difficult activities to place. It's involving different types of modes of transportation: the intermodal, water transport, rail transport, and road connections, and all kinds of activities. Port development, and railway development, rail lines, and all kinds of things. And so I've forgotten where we place this one. But like you are saying, it looks close, very close to. Maybe I would put. Sorry.
I think it is close to a plan.
It's close to a plan, eh?
Yes.
Yes.
For the definitions you've given us so far.
Yes.
That's what I think, anyway.
Yes, you think it's close to a plan. Somebody will also not be wrong if he thinks it's close to a policy. Because you see, this has policy implications. Water transport policy, rail transport policy, interconnection, intermodal transportation, road network connections, and even somebody was talking about water quality, to make sure that the water transport component, the kind of cargo that you transport on the Volta Lake, and how to make sure that you have the oil spill contingency plans in place. So in case of any accidental spillage, and it's so it contains everything. Okay.
Prof.
Yes.
Prof, can I read the plan SEA that the definition you gave us? Hence my decision of saying that it's close to a plan. It says
Okay.
it assesses development frameworks,
Okay.
often for a sector or geographical area,
Okay.
including land use patterns and alternative planning scenarios. Because it's a mixture like the system that you are talking about. It fits the water lake inland water transport system. It falls within, it goes to certain geographical areas. There are towns alongside the lake. What we are going to, the system that whether it's going to be rail, whether it's going to be lake transport like using boat, is going to affect the water quality as I indicated earlier. So what you have given me, that's why I would debate anybody who would take program rather than a plan.
Yes, yes, yes. That you are right. You are right. But I am also arguing, from the other side that it can also fit as a policy. You see, because there are policy elements in this kind of study, in this kind of project. Okay, and as we gave the hierarchy of SEAs, and we indicated policy is first, okay, before plan, before program, before projects. Okay, so if policy crops its head up in any of these scenarios, then you give it to policy. Okay, but as I said, these things overlap. And they are not, in fact, sometimes their names even don't matter. And what matters are the issues that we identify for, comprehensive assessment involving the relevant stakeholders. Okay, but as soon as policy comes in strongly, then you devolve to policy. Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
So, Prof, let me ask this question. For instance, if you give me, and I know Dr. Lenta is listening, if you bring this kind of question, and I choose plan, and someone also choose policy, since you say it overlaps, will you give the two of us
No.
the marks?
You will not be assessed based on stating whether policy or.
But how to expatiate on it? Okay, right. Thanks. Thank you.
Yes.
The reason why I choose that.
What you look out for is what features, what is enabling you to say that.
That's right.
It is action, it is plan, or it is program, or you for policy. You may cite all three. All three may feature policy, program, plan, but proportionately, you may argue that a plan appears to, predominate. Okay, or you may say that, because policy is on a higher strategic hierarchy, you would rather give it to. But those are semantics. The important things are the issues and how you address those issues that you identify.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay.
I think one of my colleagues' hand is up, Emmanuel.
Yeah, Emmanuel, you may be muted.
Yes, thank you very much. So with the submission given, then I also think the 1.7, 1.8 can also be a program in the sense that because the definition makes it clear that programs requires like activities that could even lead to the implementation of a policy. So maybe Drawa industrial zones, Ghana airport, city development can all be activities that the government is seeking to implement to lead to maybe a policy. Let me say, Ghana ensure that people build in designated areas, like the example that we are having now. the people building in Ramsar site and all those stuff. So zoning and these developments, I mean, coming in just to, I mean, I think it can lead to an urban policy. So I don't know whether I'm right or corrected, but
No.
I'm also seeing the point that it can be a program if I'm right.
No,
No.
let me comment. As for this, you see, what we are saying is that there are some names or some activities that you can justify as, like we're talking about the 1.9, 1.10. The based on your reasons, you can categorize them in more than one. But there are others you cannot do that. Like 1.7, 1.8 are plans. We are talking about a zoning plan. We are talking about a spatial plan. And it cannot be any other thing. It has to come out of a policy. The plan will come, if you look at the hierarchy, the plan comes out of a policy. And this is a large area with multiple future projects that you don't know the scope of this project. You see, so once you have a large area with multiple future projects, offices, hotels, retail shops, malls, and other things, it becomes a plan. And so as for 1.7, 1.8, you can't take them otherwise. I don't see a reason you give that will qualify it as a policy or even a program, but a plan. This is what I have to say.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Yes. So let's take the last one. And again, it has some difficulty. Let me break it up. You see, the Ghana Landscape Restoration and Small Scale Mining Projects. Okay, well, let me hear from you. What do you think if you are faced with a project like this? What would be your approach? How will you classify the kind of SCA that you, and see the name mining project, but we are talking about SCA. Okay, so and this is of special interest. So please let me hear from you what you think. Yes, who is starting it? Yes, Anam.
So, sir, please, looking at what Doug just said, this will also be taking a vast land of parcel of land, and to take a longer time to work on it, especially when it comes to restoration. So, I think it should be SCI plan.
It should be SCA plan. SCA. Okay. Stephen.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, let me come in. If you look at the plan, you see that it's situated at specific area. Are you getting it? Like the airport city, the what do we call it? The Dawa industrial zone. You realize that it's not spread across the nation. But what we are considering now, clearly it is talking about Ghana landscape. So it is not based in one place. So you can have it, though, covering large areas, but dotted across. So it cannot be a plan, if you ask me. But that is
a program.
Yes. I mean
programs.
Yes. Ernestina, what do you also say?
Yeah, thank you. So I think it's a program SCA because when you look at it, it's actually combined, a landscape restoration and a reform that looks, across multiple sites. So it will be looking at cumulative watershed, land use effect, and all of that. So even for the fact that it's across the multiple sites, it's definitely a program SCA. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We still have Jacob and then George. So Jacob.
No, yes, I side with it being a program, looking at its widespread nature, and in fact, a lot of activities would have to come together to undertake this program because we are restoring mining sites. A lot of considerations would have been made. This needs a very strategic planning for it. That makes it SCA, but under SCA, I will still take it as a program.
Okay. Now let's take from George before Obed. Yeah, George.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So I also think given that the program operates across interconnected landscapes, where mining, agricultural forests, and water resources and local livelihoods interact, I think it will be best to allocate it under program CA.
Okay.
Yeah, because the environmental implications cannot be fully understood by assessing just an individual mining or restoration activity in isolation. So just like doctor said, we have to look at mining sites in different parts of Ghana and not just one particular mining site in isolation. So I think it's qualified to be program CEA by this.
Yeah. Okay. Obed,
Yes,
please.
Doc. Yes, I also think it's a program SEA because it will involve coordinated set of interventions, which is aimed at addressing two interconnected issues, that is restoring degraded landscapes and managing the environmental impact of small-scale mining. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Enam, you want to come in again?
No, sir. Sorry, I couldn't.
Okay, right. Yes, so what happened was that this assignment was given to us, and then when we delve into it, when we look at the scope of the assignment, it turned out to be two separate assignments. There was one for landscape restoration. So they're looking at degraded areas as some, I think Obed said it was, George, degraded landscape and the restoration projects that they wanted to undertake. Okay, and then another one was the small-scale mining project. That's how it's put here. But it also turned out to be formalization of artisanal and small-scale mining in Ghana. Okay, and that was the component that we had to work on. So the full name of the project is called, you can see it here from there, Ghana Landscape Restoration and Small-Scale Mining Project. But the sub-activity was formalization of artisanal and small-scale mining in Ghana. And this is what we did. And we ended up applying SEA. Effectively, it was a policy SEA that we did. And it's simply because there were so many policy elements, policy policy restructuring, policy reformation, policy on mercury use, policy on mining, small-scale mining, so many of policies that we had to deal with. And so it was predominantly a policy SEA. Now, the ultimate aim was to come up with a system of transforming small-scale mining. In fact, transforming Galamsey to say it in a naked a naked way. It was just a transformation of Galamsey into a model, sustainable, ethical mining. That was what we did. We had to do, and that was what we did. Now, we did this and then submitted it. Unfortunately, it was under the World Bank, so the World Bank paid for it, but Ghana did not see it fit to implement it. And so we are where we are. And to make the information available, on the exercise that was done, I decided to convert this technical SEA report into a story format. So, a doctor talked about my book that was launched about a month or two so ago. It tells about how the Benji changed the Galamsey story, and we used fictional or semi-fictional names of a country that also was ravaged by Galamsey, like Ghana, and how they solved their problem as an example for us to also follow to deal with our Galamsey problem. So I would recommend, and Doctor said it, I recommend that you get copies of the book. It will show you SEA in a SEA presentation in a story format, and it would help you to understand that SEA is not any abstract theoretical evaluation, okay, and that it is very practical, and you can also pick up skills from there, and one day you also join in translating technical SEA reports into story formats that resonate with the public, that policymakers can easily understand. And we see the advantages of SEA in helping us to deal with our perennial problems that we cannot, as they say, see top. But, the way out is SEA. The way out is SEA. So please look at the processes which we will not have time to go through, but they follow the same or similar lines along EIA, okay, where you start with screening, you do your scoping, and of course the baseline and trends, and then you look at your strategic objectives. The strategic objectives is more aligned to SEA, but the stakeholder engagement, the fifth point, is common to both SEA and EIA. Your development of alternatives is the same. I mean, same as for EIA and SEA. So I think we can devote some few minutes for any questions, any nagging questions that anybody has. And then we'll bring our lecture to a close.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prof. We are so grateful. We are grateful. Before the questions, I want to say that since we were given assignments and we had people participating, I, as a lecturer, have allocated marks for those who participated, which I'm going to add to their continuous assessment. I have Raymond, I have Stephen. So these people have 2 marks, Raymond, Stephen, and Estina Enam. And I have 1 mark for Obed, George, Emmanuel Wafo. So I'll add it to your continuing assessment. Thank you very much. Now let's get the questions. If you did not
Hey,
hear
dog.
your name, it means I did not hear from you.
Hey, dog.
Thank
Dog,
you.
you didn't
Thank you,
mention Jacob.
John.
Hello, Doc.
Doc, so those of us who spoke, you didn't hear.
So we all make contributions.
Doc,
Yeah.
we all contributed.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Come again with his assessment.
so let's deal with the question. So maybe those whose names were not recorded, you can bring up questions, and that would that will earn you your marks. Yes, Jacob.
Okay, Doc, please, I want to find out if a same project can go through both SEA and EIA. Thank you.
The same project. Why should that happen? Why should that happen?
It's my conclusion. So I want to know if basically every project must go through just one of them, or there are some projects that would have to go through both of them.
No, it's not. You see, what happens is that if you have a program SEA or if you have a plan SEA, now, and again, this is a distinction between plan SEA and program SEA from policy SEA. Policy SEA will not have sub-projects. Plan SEAs will have a plan SEA, and the program SEA will have sub-projects. So if you take, for instance, the water and sanitation, Northern Region Small Town Water and Sanitation Project, okay, which we did program SEA for. It has sub-projects for the small towns involved in the project. You see, EIAs, okay. So you see that from SEA for a plan, you now have to drill down the sub-projects. So the SEA provides the framework. And I mentioned that the procedural approach, the screening tools in deciding what level of EIA or what level of environmental assessment should be done will all have to be derived from the SEA for the program. Okay. But when you come to plan SEA, like Dawa or like Accra City, Airport City SEA, you see that Holiday Inn is there. Which other hotel and which other building? All those structures and shopping malls and car parks are all there. You see, there was this original plan SEA conducted for the whole site. Now, that also set the framework for the individual projects like Holiday Inn, okay, coming. And Holiday Inn then has to be subjected to EIA. Okay. So you see where you're coming from SEA and you drill down to EIA. Okay. And that is unlike a policy SEA, which has no sub-projects under. I don't know whether it's clear or I'm confusing you.
Oh yeah, I'm fine. I get it now.
Fine. You get it. You get it. It's very, very important to get it. So if anybody is not clear, please let me know. Enam, before Obed.
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm here. I just want to know whether we will be privy to the slide that you used to lecture us, because I think it's resourceful.
Okay, I think your lecturer would handle that. Doc will handle that. Yes. Okay, Obed.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Doc. Doc, please, I honestly have a question, but how to frame the questions for it to make sense is becoming a bit of problem to me, but I think you would get me. So please, when we are talking about the difference between SEA and ESIA, about the timing part, the timing aspect, you said with SEA, decision is taken far before the project is implemented. And you cited an example that if your project is dust driven, for example, road construction, you would want to take advantage of the raining season so that at least the rain can subdue the dust for community members to be safe from air pollution. I want to ask that if at the SEA stage, you decide that you want to start your road construction project within the period of June, July, because it is stipulated that June, July is rainfall period. Now it gets to June, July, due to climate change fluctuations, rain does not fall. Are you going to change the commencement of the project because environmental factors have changed? That is the rainfall due to climate change, or once decisions are taken at the SEA level, like it is not subjected to change. Like, I don't know, please, if you understand what I'm trying to say. Is decisions taken at the SEA level subject to change when environmental factors also changes?
Well, but this example is not it's not too important, because you see, for investment, if you want to make an investment in your in developing, let's say, an industrial zone and bring industries there, you will not, for instance, let timing because of the likelihood to take advantage of rainfall be a deciding factor. Yeah, so that is not too important. And of course, your assessments must take into account the variability of the weather due to climate change. Okay, so you factor all this into your equation. Okay, and then so that it doesn't, and you see, you also don't get things working as perfectly as that. Okay, so in EIA and in SCA in particular, I mean, you have the latitude, you have the flexibility of timing, and even EPA's permits allows you to notify them in the event that significant changes occur due to no fault of yours, or even if due to a fault of yours, significant change has occurred. You notify the EPA, and then you modify the impacts and the mitigation accordingly. Okay, yeah. So there are no hard and fast rules that should bind you to anything. Okay, this is, after all, to guide you in your decision making and in your investment programming, that you don't throw money away. Okay, that's all. That's all. I hope it's clear.
Yes, Doc, perfectly clear. Thank you so much, Doc.
Thank you. Solomon.
Okay, sir. So I want to ask that when dealing with something like the programs that have many small parts, or many small parts in different locations, like, for example, the One Village, One Dam. Do we have any technical tools that can be used to calculate the total or combined impacts of
Yes,
this program?
Yes, that's what the assessment is all about. So you are looking at the cumulative effects of these small activities. When they all come together, what does it mean? Does it mean that it will be significant enough for you to set up a threshold that each development should not exceed? But this usually happens in a plan SEA. Like, for instance, if you are in the Tema free zones, okay, where We are talking about a large land area which you have compartmentalized for various activities. Let's say you have a location for, let's say, cement industry, and you have a location for electronic. Okay. Your main concern is to look at perhaps the prevailing wind direction and to ensure that the cement does not create problem for the electronic or any other sensitive industry. Okay, so that is what you are looking to determine, and then you can give because you cannot allow one industry to or the total number of industries there, let's say the cement industries, to emit a level of cement dust. So you may set a ceiling that because this should not be exceeded, each industry must work to a certain limit so that cumulatively they do not exceed the maximum ceiling for, let's say, cement dust or dust particles of PM 5 or 2.5 or something. Okay, and the concentration of, you see, so you definitely have to work that out, and that needs sometimes modeling. Okay, modeling to determine what limit, what cumulatively cannot be, threshold cannot be exceeded, and things like that. And that's one of the important advantages of SEA. You can set up all these things so that you are sure that you will not exceed the allowable limits, which EIA cannot do. Because if EIA and they are coming there on their own and doing their own thing in an open area, everybody comes and they produce, if it's discharges, they are discharging everything into the lagoon or into some water system. And there is no control, or there's limited control. But when it comes to SEA would define what you can discharge in advance. So before you do your EIA, okay, the SEA would have made certain determinations for you, and you have to, define your EIA to conform to what has been determined by the SEA. So that's one important relationship, an advantage of SEA over EIA. Solomon, is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It is. Okay.
It's clear,
Okay.
sir.
Yes. So
Thank you, sir.
I think that it's been over 2 hours talking. It's not been easy. We will want to end here with Sir, and we want to thank you very, very much. In fact, I'll call on Stephen Amachi to give some sort of vote of thanks to our guest lecturer as we close. And if there is anything that he will have to tell us, we would also want to hear about what they do at the center and what opportunities we can have, especially for those of us who are not working, who have just finished our national service and are looking into environment and what we can do. So after the vote of thanks, either Sir himself or Brekisu can tell us what the center offers. And don't forget the book. I have it here. I have my copy here. That is the what do we call it? The last day. Yeah, so I have it here. I have my copy here. as you can see in the video. Let us see how we can get copies for ourselves to enlighten us on. We are doing, so these are environmental restoration studies students.
Okay.
But they are doing, their program is MPhil Environmental Restoration Studies. And
okay.
So it's for them to get into the area. I think that they need mentorship and other opportunities. And so that we'll wait for that. Yeah, Stephen, will you be able to, are you around?
Oh, yes, sir. I'm here.
All right. So you are giving us the vote of thanks.
Okay. Doc, thanks for the opportunity. Prof, on behalf of the group, both MPhil and MSc Environmental Restoration students, and on my own behalf, I would like to say a big thank you for taking time off your busy schedule to give us this insightful lecture. In fact, I think the reason why Doc asked me to give the vote of thanks is because I'm the oldest student among my classmates. So that is why he asked. That's what I think anyway. So we are grateful, and we will also call on Doc to maybe call you another time. That is, if you have time to come back again, because we need industrial players to mentor us, as he has really indicated. So we are grateful, and we pray that God will give you good health so that we can come back for more insightful lectures. And I will also say that please, if we can get copies of your book at our library, maybe we'll go and buy them from, or you give us the source that we can get the book from. I don't know whether you can leave it with Doc so that when we come to campus, we'll buy it from him, or I don't know. Or you show me where you are, I will come and pick maybe a dozen or two and bring you to campus for those who would like to buy. Yes. So on behalf of my colleagues and on my own behalf, we are most grateful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much too. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And thanks, Doc, for the opportunity.
So that's my face.
Oh, that's your face.
Yes,
oh,
yes.
My face didn't show very well. Okay, maybe. Yeah, I think.
I can see you.
Sorry, you can see me.
Yes, I can see you. Yeah.
Okay. And you indicated you have some links with Akosombo.
No, I actually live in Akosombo.
You live there?
Yes, I live at Committee 1, around Mess, close to AIS.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I come from that area, so
okay.
And I just came from there. I lost my sister in Atimpoku, so and Akosombo, all my friends,
Oh, my condolences.
Oh, but that's all right. Yeah, thanks. Thank you very much. And thanks very much for the opportunity, Doc. It's a pleasure, and it's been my interest in mentoring and training students, to become professionals. And I have a number of students who are now occupying very high positions in all areas, including the World Bank. and so we have that facility even for experiential students from Legon, PhD students. Yes. So we train them, and the emphasis is on field work. You see, so that you get a practical experience and you become very competent. And in some cases, we also look for even opportunities to work in industries and then you can always come back here, depend upon the skills. We are sometimes selective. I mean, the best brains we want always to, to maintain and to assist. Yeah, so we can work out something just as we're doing with Legon. What's the name of the institute? Environmental and Sanitation Studies or something like that. Yeah. So
ISS, yes.
Yes. Yeah. So
that's my institute.
Oh, okay. So we can work out something also with your university, and so that those who want to have attachment or internship or actual training opportunities, we make provision for you. Yeah. So thank you for the opportunity and books. Doc, what do you suggest? Should we arrange to send copies to you, or Stephen will pick them from our office here, or whatever arrangement we can send some books.
Yes, yeah. So I think that he should get the list, those who are interested.
Okay.
I would, Regiso, I'll send his contact to you so that you get in touch. Those who are interested, when he gets the list, I know Stephen, he will pick it. He will pick them up for years. So if there is one, I have placed one in the university library anyway, but I mean you can, it's just one. So if you have your own copy, and like you said, it gives you what SCA is, and you can, I mean, you are in restoration. The landscape, there's going to be a lot of restoration in small scale mining and looking at what is going on. And so you need to really understand these things and help with the work as master students. So Stephen, I would give your contact to Rekisu. She'll get in touch with you, and then please, you need to get a copy. You need to get a copy, at least you know that you are ending the coursework and you have a book that has practical information. So that is, I think that is what we'll do so that Stephen can pick up for his colleagues.
Yeah, okay. I think someone is asking how much it costs. It's 150 cedis a copy.
Yeah. 150 Ghana cedis.
Yeah.
I mean, today 150 All right. So please let's give our names to Stephen so that he can arrange to have copies for each of us. That is fine. If there is no more information, so like you have on your screen the center, the company, the vision, the mission, and it's on a slide. So I will share with you. We'll look at it so that you know exactly what to do. Like he said, we're actually in the process of getting an MOU with the center to see how we can collaborate. And it's in the process we are in the process of finalizing it. And that would happen for those of us who are interested in working and in the sector. Thank you very much, sir, and Brekisu, thank you so much for coordinating this and always getting my messages and working on them for me. I'm grateful. Yeah. Sir, I'm so grateful for coming, and I believe we will meet when our MOU is ready. Yeah. We'll meet with you to have a discussion.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay.
I look forward to one day visiting your university. I haven't been there before.
Right. That will be fine. Thanks so much for this time and the opportunity given to us.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye.